Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Kids Fun Magic World. Friends, today our topic is essay on US history, regents, civic literacy essay. Civic literacy, the knowledge and skills needed to participate effectively in civic life, is a cornerstone of American democracy. It empowers individuals to make informed decisions, hold their government accountable, and contribute to the public good. The United States Constitution, the foundation of American government, reflect core democratic values such as liberty, equality, and justice. Throughout American history, civic literacy has played a vital role in movements for civil rights, the expansion of suffrage, and reforms that have strengthened the democratic process. This essay will explore how civic literacy, rooted in the US Constitution and historical experience, has shaped American society and continues to be essential in maintaining a healthy democracy. The foundation of civic literacy, the US Constitution. The Constitution of the United States, adopted in 1787, is the supreme law of the land. It outlines the framework for the federal government, establishing the three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial, and defining the powers of each. One of the Constitution's most important features is the system of checks and balances, which prevent any one branch from becoming too powerful. This structure ensures accountability and upholds the rule of law. Civic literacy begins with understanding the Constitution's core principles. For example, the Bill of Rights, ratified in 1791, guarantees essential freedoms including freedom of speech, religion, the press, assembly, and petition. These rights enables citizens to participate in public discourse and advocate for change. Without knowledge of these protections, individuals cannot fully exercise their rights or defend them when they are threatened. An example of how civic literacy can promote democratic engagement is the landmark Supreme Court case Brown v. Board of Education, 1954. This case will declared racial segregation in public schools unconstitutional, was the result of years of advocacy by civil rights activists and legal experts. Their deep understanding of constitutional principles such as equal protection under the law 14th Amendment enables them to argue effectively before the court. The decision helped to dismantle institutional racism and marked a turning point in the struggle for civil rights, civic engagement, and reform movements. Throughout American history, citizens have used their civic knowledge to bring about change. The progressive era, 1890s to 1920s, was a time of significant reform, driven by individuals who sought to address problems caused by industrialization, urbanization, and corruption. Leaders like Jane Addams, who founded Hull House, and muckraking journalists like Upton Sinclair and Ida Tarbell informed the public and pressured government officials to act. The passage of the 17th Amendment, which established the direct election of senators, is one example of how civic activism led to constitutional reform. Prior to its ratification in 1913, senators were chosen by state legislature, which often resulted in corruption and lack of accountability. Progressives argued that Direct election would make senators more responsive to the people. This change strengthened democracy by increasing transparency and citizen participation. Another example is the women's suffrage movement. For decades, women like Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Alice Paul campaigned for the right to vote. Their effort culminated in the 19th Amendment, ratified in 1920, which prohibited the denial of voting rights based on sex. The success of this movement was due in large part to civic literacy, understanding how to petition the government, organize rallies, and navigate the legislative process. The civil rights movement and constitutional change. Civic literacy also played a key role in the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s. Leaders like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and Thurgood Marshall used non-violent protest, legal challenges, and grassroots organizing to fight racial injustice. They were guided by the Constitution and its promises of equality. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 were landmark pieces of legislation that outlawed segregation and protected voting rights for African Americans. These laws were made possible by the persistent efforts of citizens who understood their rights and demanded that the government uphold them. Civic literacy enables activists to challenge unjust law and mobilize public opinion in favor of reform. The Montgomery bus boycott, sparked by Rosa Parks' arrest in 1955, is a prime example. The boycott lasted over a year and resulted in a Supreme Court ruling that segregation on public buses was unconstitutional. The movement's success was due in part to the organizers' knowledge of legal procedures and civil rights. Contemporary challenges to civic literacy. In recent years, concerns have grown about declining levels of civic knowledge among Americans. Studies have shown that many people are unaware of basic constitutional principles such as the separation of power or the rights guaranteed in the First Amendment. This lack of knowledge can weaken democracy as uninformed citizens are less likely to vote, engage in public debate, or recognize threats to their rights. Civic literacy is especially important in the digital age where misinformation can spread rapidly. Understanding how government works, how to evaluate source of information, and how to engage in respectful dialogue are crucial skills for the 21st century citizen. Programs that promote civic education such as mock election, debate clubs, and service learning can help prepare young people to become active participants in democracy. Student organized protests, lobbied lawmakers, and registered voters. Their activism was rooted in a clear understanding of constitutional rights and the legislative process. They used social media to raise awareness and push for policy change, demonstrating the power of civic literacy in action. Conclusion: civic literacy is essential to the preservation and advancement of democracy in the United States. From the foundation of the Republic to the modern era, informed citizens have used their knowledge of the Constitution and democratic principles to advocate for change, expand rights, and improve government. Historical examples such as civil rights movement, women's suffrage, and progressive era reforms shows the power of civic engagement. As new challenges arise from misinformation to political polarization, the need for civic education becomes even more urgent. By promoting civic literacy, the United States can ensure that its citizens are prepared to uphold the values of liberty, equality, and justice for all. Thank you. Please subscribe, share, and comments.